resulted from meetings like this. It started with Peter Kagiyama, and we certainly want it to continue. And we thank you for everything that you've done, and we are encouraging you to think of new things, to come up with more. We got 23,000 people in this city that like to do things, and so any idea is not out of range. So come on up and think about stuff and see what we can. I'm going to quit talking now, so I'll give you back to our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor Baker. Appreciate that. My name's Rob Carlindsey. I'm city manager for Kenmore, and I've been city manager for 7 years, if you can believe that. In fact, some of my coworkers are getting tired of this joke, but they say, I don't know where it's written, but they say that the average tenure for a city manager is 7 years. And my 7-year anniversary date was April 23rd. So I'm slightly above average. So, but anyway, so grateful that you could all come tonight. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started. You'll notice a few people with these colorful leis. These are all coworkers of mine that are here to assist you and help you. So if you have any questions or need anything, just contact somebody that's wearing one of these leis. It might come in handy a little bit later because we're going to be asking you to do things, and you might need their help a little bit later. And I just want to thank my coworkers. They all have regular day jobs. They're all busy during the day, but they volunteered their time to help make this whole event possible. So all of you wearing leis, if you could raise your hands and everybody give them a round of applause, please. So thank you so much. Yeah. Also, we have a bunch of my bosses in the audience. So I report to the Kenmore City Council, and I think most, if not all of them, are here tonight. Could you all please stand as city council members? Brent Smith, Stacy Newski, David Nigel Herbig, Milton Curtis, Deborah Shrabnik. Yes, thank you so much for coming. We also have a kids table in the back, and kids are welcome to this event. I also want to thank our sponsors, and we're going to be mentioning them a little bit later. Kenmore Air has provided us with on tonight. Snapdoodle Toys, Rob Pickering, has also sponsored a bit later. And last but not least, the Seaplane Restaurant is also sponsored. We've got some to show from them a little bit later. Also, want to make sure that, most of the time we say, turn off your cell phones. Well, actually, we want you to turn on your cell phones. We're going to be using them a couple times tonight, and I'll explain shortly. But the purpose of tonight is twofold, and it's kind of what, like the mayor was saying. Number one, we want to celebrate you and thank you for being what we call co-creators. And if you don't know what a co-creator is, I'll also be talking about that a little bit later. So that's first and foremost. This is a night just to celebrate you and thank you for all that you do. And the second purpose is we want to talk about what co-creators do and give you some more ideas and encourage you and let you know that we've got your back. The city of Kenmore supports and loves its co-creators. So before I get too boring, guess what I'm going to do? We're actually going to do something interactive, and we're going to vote. Remember, I don't know for this event, but you could submit a photo of Kenmore, and people could submit up to 3 photos. Well, we actually had 4 people submit a total of 12 photographs of Kenmore, and they're all along the wall. And we need your help in deciding which is the best one. So this is where you're going to pull out your phones, and there's instructions on your tables here. That yellow laminated card will explain it. But what I is kind of go up. It's going to take a little bit, but go up. Look, favorite photo. And then when you do that, come back to your tables and I'll explain further. But make sure when you see your photo, just acknowledge the letter above your favorite photo. Come, and then we'll vote on them with our cell phones. So, should take a couple minutes.
So we created another table, so if your table's tight.
Hey, good news, you guys. We've created another table in the back, and so if you're kind of squished at your table, you can go to the new table in the back. Kelly, can you help me find that?
Sure. Is it ready to go and then full screen it? So, yeah, remember it's up here too. Like they're going to text to that number.
Kathy Leota.
Oh, excuse me?
Did your daughter come? Oh, they're here? Okay, as you can see, some of the voting is already happening. So the instructions are up here on the screen, but also on your table. So you want to send a text message to 22333 and then type in Hank Heron 603 to access the voting poll. No. Yeah, we've tested it. We've tried to vote twice on the same phone, and it wouldn't let us. Now, I'm sure you could hack it. Did you guys? This all making sense? Right? Did you vote? Okay.
Brad Kell is the guy that's getting all the votes.
Okay, can you get the T-shirt, the Kenmore T-shirt? The bad mic. And then the second place picture is E. Who's going to do?
And if they don't have a cell phone, then staff can help them place their vote.
All right, if you don't have a phone, city staff can help you place a vote.
Are you doing okay here? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just wish this mic was louder.
Why don't you switch? Did you already switch?
Hello? Hello. Which one's louder, this one or this one? What's that? I don't know. Yeah, we've got it turned up as loud as possible, right? Yeah. It's all right. Yeah, let's just do this one. This one's okay, guys. I think we're gonna close it. Wow, photo B. Photo B is the winner. All right, you guys, gonna have your attention. All right. So, Brad Bell is the photographer for photo B. Brad, are you here? That works. That works. Okay. What a great photo. I love it. And it happens to be a picture of what? Seaplane, yes. Okay, so we have a prize for first place in the photo, and that's a $50 gift certificate to Snapdoodle Toys. Yeah. Yeah, so Rob, Snapdoodle Toys, donated that. Thank you, Rob. And we even have a prize for the runner-up photo, which I believe was E, right? I think E took second place. And we have a T-shirt donated by Kenmore Air. Pretty cool. And that's John Arnold in second place. John, are you here? All right, come on up. So we thought ahead, and we have multiple sizes for you to choose from. So this is a medium, but if you need a different size, you can see Nancy Meehan right there. Okay, thank you. Good job. Okay, so moving right along. Just wanted to get some juices flowing a little bit here in the room. So those of you who know me, you hear me talk about this a lot. We like to say that Kenmore, the whole community, is on an upward trajectory of becoming. Becoming what? No, just becoming. We're on an upward trajectory of becoming. And everything we do as a city, or at least everything we hope we do as a city, we're trying to make the city a little bit better. We're trying to protect the great underlying assets that we have, plus iron out some of the rough edges and just make a better community overall. And how do we do that? We propel ourselves on this upward trajectory through what I call incrementalism. When I say that, so little bit by little bit, great. And that's what's so fun about being a city manager of a city like this, is this city welcomes these incremental bit-by-bit changes that make it so rewarding to work here. So how do we do this? How do we trying to do when we're on this upward trajectory? Kind of a vague term, just upward trajectory of becoming. We tried to answer this question by asking another question. Why does Kenmore city government exist, and what difference does it make? So I asked my coworkers about that, and here's what my coworkers came up with. Here's our service vision. Here's why we exist. Propelling Kenmore upward, we create a thriving community where people love where they live. So that's how we put ourselves on that upward trajectory. So that's a pretty cool service vision. I think I'd like to work for an organization that has a vision like that. Or what about this as a service vision? We provide a place where people are civil to each other and So in our public discourse, especially at the national level, you hear, we need more civility. We need to be more civil to each other. And I think that's true, especially what we're seeing nationally. We see a lot of bullying going on and other things. But man, what a hopelessly low standard to say we need to be civil. I mean, think about your significant other, your spouse. What if your goal was just to be civil to each other? That wouldn't be a good standard. Marriage, that would be. So here at the local level, at least, I think we can go beyond civil. In fact, I think we are civil. I think we can check that box. But I think we can introduce higher levels of engagement, and I'm about to use the L word, love. I think we can love each other in this community. And that's what tonight's workshop is going to talk about. And the part about getting people from point A to point B, yeah, cities do that, but it's more than that. It's about placemaking too. It's creating that sense of community and that sense of place. So I'd like to go back to the original service vision, where we create a thriving community where people love where they live. So let's take that another step. How do we do that? Well, my coworkers answered that question too. This question, business are we in? Up with, we're in the business of building a sense of community, reducing human, beautifying our city, planning for a better future, fostering local businesses and their ambitions. You guys ready for this? Hold on to your seats. Asking, where is the fun? And that's a question we're going to ask tonight. Where is the fun? So if you saw an organization that had any one of these things, don't you think it would be a pretty cool organization to work for? Recruit you to apply for jobs here at the city. But yeah, but we get to do all these things and more, so it makes working here so fun. So there's other questions we can ask. We can ask, where's the fun? We can ask, where's the beauty? And notice, I'm not asking where the civility is, because I think we can say we've already got it. Where's the human interaction and connection? Where's the joy? And where's the love? So those are questions that cities can ask too. So we asked a lot of these questions back in 2015 when we had Peter Kageyama come. He was in this very room, April of 2015, 4 years ago. And Peter Kageyama is a national community engagement expert and walked us through a lot of these questions, of these ideas. Just for interest, how many of you were at that actual event with Peter Kageyama? Raise your hand. All right, we've got some people returning. Cool, thank you. Here's a photo of that actual event. And there's Peter right there standing up. A lot of things spawned from that event. A lot of cool, what we call love notes resulted from the Peter Kageyama event back in 2015. We had him back in 2017, so you can see we're kind of doing it every other year. And now it's 2019. Where's Peter Kageyama? Well, guess what? I'm trying to be Peter Kageyama tonight, so we're on a budget, so we're watching out for your tax dollars. So, let's take another little interactive exercise. Let's hear from you about what do you love about Kenmore. And on each of your tables are a bunch of sticky notes. And what I'd like you to do is just write 2 or 3 things you love about Kenmore, and just one thing per sticky note. And then as soon as you're ready, as soon as you got your things written down, just come up to this microphone and tell us what you love about Kenmore. So you guys, I have to apologize. These microphones are not very loud. We've got them turned up all the way. So as people come up, we'll need to make sure we're quiet enough so we can hear them. If you're not comfortable telling everybody what you love about Kenmore in the microphone, you're just welcome to just put it right back on that board. So as soon as you're done speaking into the mic, you can put your sticky notes right here on this board behind us where it says, "What do you love about Kenmore?" So, but yeah, we'd love to hear you speak it in the microphone. Hello, yeah, I'll try this. This sounds good. Yeah, so think of the 2 or 3 things you love about Kenmore. Oh, look at that. The mayor is the first one. Mayor Baker, what do you got?
Neighbors, the community, and Hank Herron.
All right, Hank. Councilmember Curtis.
I just put one. We're preparing for new citizens who will be part of our community. So Kenmore's getting ready for all the folks that are going to join us.
Come on up. Don't be shy.
Mine kind of goes along with Milton's: smart growth that considers all citizens' needs, development of parks and waterways, and public art.
The sense of community and service, the waterfront, and the community partnerships.
Thanks, Al. And go ahead and put your stickies right back there.
Okay, for me, the growing of the community and how businesses are growing within our community.
All right, spoken like the true chair of the Kenmore Business Alliance.
For me, it's St. Edward State Park. And for my daughters, it's the water feature at the hangar.
All right.
Parks. Parks and breweries.
All right. Maura.
I love the hangar. I love that it is a community of kindness and all of the beautiful parks.
All right, thank you.
Well, mine has already been spoken. Mine is St. Edward State Park and living right on Lake Washington.
Great, thank you. Yeah, it looks like the line is forming right here. So,
I love the wilderness, the mini wilderness, and all the little creatures that walk around in the Bothell. So.
All right.
I only have 2, but I love it that the lake is getting cleaner. I love to use the lake, and it's getting cleaner every year. I like that. And last year we saw some baby sturgeons. They were about 4 feet long, but they're in the lake. It's good to know.
I love the nature, the people, and beer.
Okay. Go ahead. I just want to go ahead.
I like the people and the parks.
I'll keep it for you, yeah.
I love our beautiful Kenmore landscapes, our sense of community, and that fabulous new splash pad.
I love Rhodey Park.
I love the summer events and the biking trails.
All right.
Mine's already been said. Hank Herron. Cooper, who's a dog that we visit along the water, and the beauty of the water.
too, but the parks, the people, and the town square and hangar building.
Got the Lake Washington, the herons, and just the small town character, which kind of envisioned this event.
I love the community, the birds, and all the Pokestops.
Okay.
St. Edwards Park for mountain biking and fishing.
How about the 4th of July?
Yeah.
I definitely love the people and the challenges that an urban setting brings forward to try to protect the environment, the streams, the salmon, the osprey. So I like the problem solving with smart, dedicated people and their dogs.
I love the palpable sense of pride and belonging, the way the city seems to be growing in all directions, and a sense of a small town.
Right. Well, we love the Kenmore Library, blue herons and eagles, and the Burt Gilman Trail.
I love the parks and community.
I love the food trucks.
All right.
I love the school district, high proximity to Lake Washington.
I love that Kenmore is small enough, big enough to be cool, and small enough that one person could maybe make a little difference.
I'll follow that. People-friendly, scaled community, and our connection with nature.
Thank you.
I love watching the place I grew up grow, and I love taking my kids to the places I visited when I was little. I love the people, and and I love taking my kids to like mazers and getting them hamsters and stuff because I did that when I was a kid. My son's like, oh, we have a lot of pets now, so.
Cool.
I love the hangar, the community, and the holiday events.
Awesome, thank you.
Well, I like that every year they keep encoring those summer concerts at St. Edwards. And free is a very good price, plus free parking. And I also like the art show that's at Bastyr that they put on every year as well.
Love the bike trail and seaplanes and water skiing on Lake Washington.
I love the hangar building and the awesome St. Vinny's mural, which is incredible. And also shout out to the wonderful staff of our wonderful little library.
My list is really long because I don't live here anymore, so I can tell you. It's really nice here. A couple of things that haven't been listed. Fantastic place to raise your kids. Super thoughtful leadership. I love that the city government works so hard to improve the city. And what else do I have? Yeah, schools. The schools are amazing.
I love the wildlife on the lake and Acapulco Fresh.
All right.
I like the Kenmore Business Alliance. And the second is city manager's philosophy, trajectory upward, relentless incrementalism. And the third one is the outdoor movie. It shows the harmony relationship between the city and the resident, and that's beautiful.
I love our waterfront, our parks, our new restaurants, plural. I can't believe I'm saying that, and I'm going to have a fourth, our city staff.
All right, thank you. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for participating in this little exercise. So let me ask you a question now. Is it possible to be in love with your city no matter where you live? Or do you have to hold out until you move to, I don't know, Boulder, Colorado, or Santa Barbara, California? Do you have to wait till you go to some cool city before you can be actually in love with your city? Well, you know that's a rhetorical question, right? Well, here's a favorite author of mine, Mel Belong, and I'm going to be referring to this a few times tonight. She asks this, she puts this out there: what place becomes a right place only by our choosing to love it? Is this term called place attachment. Anybody heard that term, place attachment? She asks, are you place attached? And she describes place attachment as truly being connected in with your city, being in love with your city. So, I told you I was going to keep you busy tonight. Let's design some t-shirts. So, what are we going to do? How are we going to design some t-shirts? We actually have some templates for workers are going to be handling. And I'd like you to design a t-shirt that is unique to Kenmore. And if you were at the Peter Kageyama event a few years ago, we did this same exercise. So we'll take a few minutes. You'll do it as a table and design a t-shirt that shows your attachment to Kenmore. And we're only going to give you about 10 minutes, and then we'll have each table come up and present. No expense.
I don't know if they're going to share, but they're working on one too.
Oh, good. So,
I wonder if we should do that now. Add the crow table now, so we're ready to go. I think we probably should.
That's a good idea. What are you guys coming up with? Kenmorons, we fly planes.
See? They all go, oh, Ken Moore. No.
All right, you guys are doing the t-shirt. you're going to come up, one of you is going to come up and present. I'm trying to get people to use the markers. So. You're captain. Is phone step one? Who's hard? Oh, so that's why it's white. Well, make sure to use the markers and pick somebody from the table to come up and. Okay, how much time do you? 5 minutes, maybe?
How these two Z's go right. It's really fascinating.
The city, so we're doing city limits, so then we're going to fill it inside. We'll do a bunch of different fonts in it, so it's like a word all just nice. So we need more words, so we can do a lot more words.
So what is Kenmore's nickname? Like, what is that? Is Pasadena the Rose City or something? What is the
They want it to be like, it says up there like the waterfront. I don't know, they're trying to. By the way.
Better hurry. So I'm going to talk about you guys tonight. And take a picture? 1, 2, 3. Cool. So you didn't want to sit at a table, or some are almost done and some haven't started. Okay, you guys almost ready? Are we getting close? Couple more minutes. Nice. Think so. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she's in the struggle. Yeah. And that's one of the things about is how do we connect you guys so you can work with each other later. So. Yeah. Yeah. You guys, okay, guys. Okay, a lot of you are almost done. Minutes. 2 more minutes, everybody. We'll have you come and present your ideas. 7:50. Two minutes. You guys done? We definitely would. Yeah. So you know, I should have told you the prize for this. We might make a T-shirt out of the one we like. Might. No, no.
So for the ones where they are voting, if you have them raise their hand if they don't have a device, and then.
Okay. Okay. Okay, you guys, I think we're ready. So who wants to come up first and present their T-shirt idea? Who's ready? Okay. Seaplane table. Okay, you guys, here we go. Can I have your attention?
Well, it's hard to see.
Okay, everybody, take a look up here.
You hold it. We thought, what's kind of the themes of Kenmore? So we came up with a shirt that says biking, boating, and beyond with the seaplane on the top.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, we could take. All right, who's next? Oh, by the way, you guys, so there's no voting or prize on this one. I should have told you that. So what is the prize? The prize is that we might make a T-shirt out of the one we like. So that's it for this. Sorry about that, but anyway, who wants to go next? Rhodey, do you guys want to go? Oh, Carl. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So one of our folks at the table mentioned that a friend of theirs always refers to Kenmore as the crown of the lake. Located up at the top, so we have a crown for Kenmore, crown of the lake. And then this is a heron with a fish in its mouth, and a seaplane, a kayak, and a fish. All of the kind of symbols of Kenmore, the things that we all love.
All right, are you ready? Wait for it. Do more in Kenmore. Yeah, so we have boat, bike, wag, fly more, and play more in Kenmore.
It's good.
Yeah.
Kenmore. It's more than you think.
Oh, it's all inclusive. I love it. Yeah.
Okay, so ours is basically showing most of the nature parts of Kenmore. So we've got the lake and a beautiful sunset right there, and also a Hank Heron and a tree, and some fireworks at the top.
Ours is hard to see, but what we were thinking is we need to have the name Kenmore on it, but not just have the name Kenmore on it. Make Kenmore the images of what we were thinking of. So within the letters of Kenmore, we would have the kayaker, nature, beer, St. Edwards, the heron in the rookery, and bikes and seaplanes. So that's our artistic interpretation.
Okay, so our shirt says make a splash in Kenmore, and there's a lot of ways you can make a splash. We have somebody stomping in the water, canoeing, beer splashing, the water feature at the hangar, and seaplanes. And then at the bottom it says a place where you can make a difference.
Am I supposed to say something?
Yes. Oh, wow.
Okay, I was just an artist. I was not the spokesperson here.
Oh, you're doing a good job. Yeah. Keep rolling with it.
So actually, try to go together. This is Kenmore bordering on fabulous.
So this is a map of Kenmore. This is what Kenmore looks like.
It's a map of Kenmore.
And we just put different characteristics and attributes of Kenmore, and these are just
with the slough going through.
Yes. And we just put different words that describe Kenmore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so They're actually, oh, has your table gone yet? Okay, come on up. Okay, what do we got?
Okay, so we have a little bit of everything. So you've got St. Edward.
You got the sunshine coming up over your shoulder, and we have a crosswalk.
Okay, the idea is to kind of play on like the Darwinian evolutionary, but it's like of different modes. So it's like from walking to biking to all the different ways to get into Kenmore, busing, seaplane. The car's got a little kayak on it. Yeah.
Okay, you guys, there's actually one more table. You think you've all gone, but there is still one more table. They did a table. So can the kids come up? Anybody from the kids' table want to come up? Maybe? Oh, yeah, I think he's still working on it. Putting the finishing touches on it. All right, good job. So these are really cool, and you only did them in a few minutes. Do you think that there's some ideas here that could actually turn into a real T-shirt? Totally. I love it. Thank you so much. So this exercise was to talk about place attachment, and creating a T-shirt unique to Kenmore kind of helps us start thinking about place attachment further. And she says that place attachment stems from emotion and belief combined with action or behavior. So let me talk about the marriage analogy again. So there's infatuation, and there's actually being in real love, right? So infatuation is kind of more of a passive thing. You know, you might be infatuated with somebody because they're handsome or beautiful, or they drive a cool car, or they have a great resume, or like the way they talk, or, you know, kind of passive things like that. But infatuation will only get you so far in a relationship, right? Same with cities. What does it take to be truly in love? It goes beyond the passive, doesn't it? It goes into the active. For you to be truly in love with your partner, you've got to invest, don't you? You got to put some action and effort into it. That's when you're truly in love with your partner. Same thing with cities. You can be infatuated with your city. You may want to move to Boulder, Colorado, or wherever because it's up in the mountains and it's a university. But that's only going to get you so far. You're truly going to love your community when you invest in it. And that's what Melanie Warnock talks about in her book. I would like to say another key ingredient that goes into place attachment, and that is what I call connection. So I think you're truly attached to your place, you're truly in love with your place when you have those relationships, when you're connecting with real people in your community. So I took Melanie Warnock's definition and added one additional ingredient to what I think really makes true place attachment. So with that as background, let's go into a topic that many of you might be familiar with, and that's love notes and co-creators. Love notes and co-creators to us back in 2015. Does anybody remember? Well, let's start with co-creators. Who is a co-creator? Can anybody tell me like what the definition of one? How would you describe a co-creator? Yeah, Carl, way in the back. Okay, well said. Anybody else? A partner? Okay, thanks, Al. Yes. Oh, I like it. And I liked how you said about make something happen. That's what co-creators do. They show their love for the city by making something happen. And it could be something physical. It could be an event. It could be a wide range of things. And you know what? I think the fact that you are here in this room makes you all co-creators. And like we said earlier, we want to celebrate what you do and encourage you to do more. So co-creators, I think, are the folks that show that they love their city, and they show it through their actions. They don't wait around to ask them to do something. They initiate, they make things happen. Okay, so if we know what co-creators are, what are love notes in terms of what Peter Kageyama talks about? What are love notes? Love notes are what co-creators produce. So normally you think of a love note as something you write down on a little piece of paper and give to your loved one. That's a literal love note, right? Well, Peter Kageyama likes to use this term love note to describe what co-creators produce for their community. And it can be tiny, it can be big, everything in between. But the main thing about a love note is when you write a love note to somebody, does it cost you any money to write a love note? I don't know, the cost of a piece of paper or a cost of a card, of maybe a couple bucks? And how much time and effort do you put into a love note? Usually only takes a few minutes, maybe. So it's a small, relatively small effort, but it's what Peter Kageyama calls an outsized impact or a big impact. Small effort, big impact. That's what love notes are. Love notes are simple things that you can do in your community, and they can be big things too, but they can be as small as you want, and they typically have that outsized impact. So do you think I was hard-pressed to find examples of love notes here in Kenmore? No. In fact, when I was preparing this presentation, I was ready to look across the nation and look at love note ideas that have been done all over the country. But I quickly realized that I did not need to go outside of Kenmore to come up with some really great examples of co-creators and love notes. So, so let me tell you a little bit, let me give you a sneak preview. After we go through some of these love note examples, I'm going to be asking you as tables to generate a love note, or maybe project might not be the right word, love note idea. And you'll have these easels here to generate the idea. And then once you crafted it and come up with your love note idea, then you'll come up and present it, and we'll vote via our phones again. And this time, there's real prizes again. So just so you know. And it has something to do with the seaplane. I'm going to start with a big one. This is the mural at St. Vincent de Paul. So, yeah. Stacy Admin. Stacy, can you stand, please? Stacy Admin was one of the two main artists. And what's that? Sarah, definitely. I'm going to be saying Sarah's name a lot tonight. She's definitely one of our co-creators extraordinaire. But a few years ago, right about the time Peter Kageyama came to town, Samantha Loyak, one of my coworkers, Samantha, where are you? Right there. Samantha walked by my office. She was on the way to her desk. It was early in the morning. And she goes, just was driving on 73rd. Got all this great material for a mural there. And I said, oh. And she goes, somebody needs to put a mural there on 73rd Avenue. And I said, okay, well, go make it happen. And so she planted some seeds, and some other seeds got planted. And before we knew it, we had a group of artists and citizens raising money and putting the design together and talking to St. Vincent de Paul, and it happened. It was amazing. And here they are. Here's some citizens volunteering to help with the outlining. You can see Mayor Baker down there with his wife. And here's the ribbon cutting event. This was a little over a year later. This was in 2016. So just a wonderful, and I think we didn't call it a love note. I think we called it a love novel or a love encyclopedia. Yeah, it was just awesome. So I'm going to go from something big to something really small. Somebody just decided to do some chalk art on the pavement. That's a love note. By the way, do you think, and I'm going to ask this question a lot tonight, do you think that person asked for permission to? No. And do I care as city manager? No. Okay, who's this? Hank Heron. So I have one of my own coworkers. He's a project engineer. He manages large capital projects in the city. But that's by day. By night, he's a cartoonist. There he is right there, Kent Vaughn. Yeah. So Ken created the cartoon character Hank Heron. Not Hank Aaron, Hank Heron. And he has produced dozens of cartoons of Hank. I'll just give a sampling of a couple. He's created Hank Heron's Guide to Fun and book right here. And there's free copies of this if you want one back at the kids' table. Right, Nancy? Yep. Yeah, free copies back at the kids' table. And just as a fun thing, it's Hank showing this little boy all the cool things in Kenmore. And the little boy happens to be Kent's little boy. Pretty fun. Yeah, and he does comic strips, and it's just wonderful to see one of our own coworkers producing a love note for the city of Kenmore. And Kent lives in Kenmore, too. We have these Heron bike racks that we've installed over there by Super Supplements, and somebody's about to get in big trouble. Somebody decorated them without my permission. No, actually, do you think they asked for permission to decorate these? No. Is that okay? Yes. Did I ever find out who decorated them? No. They also decorated them for St. Patrick's Day and Valentine's Day. If you're in the room, please come back, decorate them more. I am not mad at you. So, this was a few years ago when the Seahawks were winning Super Bowls, but this was a hawk walk created by a couple of our Kenmore residents. And they would walk, I think the Friday or Saturday before a Seahawks game, the mayor and a bunch of other people, council members, I think Councilmember Herbig and others, would walk from City Hall to Brew Row, right? Oh, to Starbucks? Okay. Yeah, and they did it rain or shine. And guess what they called themselves? They gave this group themselves a name. They called themselves the Kenmorons. So we like to laugh at ourselves. You know, if you're not into organizing something big and creating, you know what? You can just show up. We have volunteer events at the city. You can ask to create your own volunteer party for the city. Look at these volunteers. Do they look like they're having a terrible time? No, here's another one having a terrible time. And now here's another great love note. This is the Snow King Watershed Council, headed up by Eric Admin. Eric, can you raise your hand? Yeah. Eric's Kenmore resident, along with his wife Stacy, and he chairs the Snow King Watershed Council. But we have tons of opportunities to do habitat, unlimited opportunities. And so let me give you an example of what Eric and a lot of other volunteers organized. They did a native plants restoration project, and it's not just a one and done effort. It's been going on for years now, but they got a bunch of volunteers to go out and plant native plants along Swamp Creek. So that's a love note. That's right. Let's move on to Suzanne Sang, who has just recently started Just Get Me Started at the hangar. So Suzanne, can you take 20 seconds to tell us what it's all about? That's so awesome. And so if somebody wanted to, if somebody said, I want to learn calligraphy, they could contact, go ahead. Awesome. Yeah. So if somebody wants to learn a skill, contact you and you can put the word out and somebody can come and teach it right there in the hangar. So cool. Thank you. And here's a couple pictures from Just Get Me Started. Here's some folks doing sewing. Here's that rock painting class you just talked about. You know, we've done a few what we call community builds of playgrounds. These efforts have saved the city a lot of. This one was at North Shore Summit Park, and that was a really wet, miserable day. Councilmember Danuski was there. In fact, I think she's in the picture there. That was pretty wet day. They did it rain or shine. Another love note. Here's a picture of some folks making music at the hangar. Here's Sarah Hayashi. Sarah, can you raise your hand back there, way back there in the back? So Sarah organized an effort to paint the downtown fire. Artists together painted the hydrants. So here's a question for you. Can businesses be co-creators? Yes, they can. Here's some examples. Kenmore Air had a seaplane fly in a few years back where they invited the community. Did anybody go to that? I went. Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, you know what my favorite part of that event was? Is when they threw free T-shirts. It was pretty fun. Stand-up paddle and kayak rentals. They do an annual shoreline cleanup. Main Street Property Group developed Kenmore Village across the street. While they were waiting for construction to happen, they took that vacant lot and put up a parklet. It was totally on their dime. And again, I'm going to ask you this question. Did they ask the city's permission? No. The president of Main Street called me that morning and goes, hey, Rob, I just want to give you a heads up. We're putting up a parklet on your property. So we had sold them the property, but technically it was still ours until it traded hands. But yeah, they had cornhole and some other games there. You know, and it was just temporary. It was just, they knew they were going to be under construction soon, but they just wanted to do something fun for the community for just a few weeks. Does anybody know what this is? This was in the hangar. It's been in several locations throughout the city. Found by North Lake Lutheran Church, Anya Hellman, Pastor Hellman. And this is a confessions board. So you can anonymously write your confessions or your fears, your burdens. And does anybody remember seeing that in the hangar? Anybody? No? Okay. One or two of you? So here's some examples of things that were written. I don't know. I'm a little shy about that kind of stuff. I don't know if I could put myself out there, but just a fun way, or I don't know, fun? Is fun the right word? But it's a way for people to connect. And then again, Sarah Hayashi has led an amazing effort to do a gallery at City Hall. So this wall right here, just on the other side, it's a rotating gallery. There's new art genres that come through several times a year. And that is no small chore. And this is volunteer work. So this is getting the artists, curating the art, coordinating it, bringing it in, bringing it out, hosting the event. All that happens through co-creators like Sarah Hayashi. So just another people do. Yeah, let's clap for that. Okay, here's co-creators on the water. So we have a wonderful paddling program at Squires Landing Park. The city provides the facility, the boat storage, and the water access. And in return, we have volunteers providing paddling programs for the public. So we have a really healthy dragon boating program. They started out with a borrowed dragon boat a few years ago, and now they own about 4 dragon boats. Yeah, so Sherry Baker is one of the leaders of that effort. And it's not just dragon boating. They've got rowing and kayaking and canoeing and outrigger canoe and stand-up paddle. So they've got lots of paddling programs on the water, all done by volunteer efforts. So pretty cool. Let's give them a round of applause too. Here's one that was recently produced by the Kenmore Heritage Society. So Joanne Evans and Suzanne Greathouse worked together, I think, right? Correct? Yeah, and they didn't wait for the city on this one. They wanted a cool map of Kenmore, what they call a historic walking tour. And they put their artwork and their talents together to create this. And we have copies of this, right? Are they here? What's that? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So it's literally hot off the press and still working on it. But so can you guys raise your hands and just, yes, thank you for your efforts. And by the way, I'm really just touching on the tip of the iceberg. I'm only covering a few love notes tonight. Here's one, what we call the Luminaria event. So when the Christmas ships come in December, we have Deborah Shrebnick and Aline Fisher organize this event where you put the bags with the candles out, and then you gather for the Christmas ships and coffee and stuff out on the pier. It's just a really nice way to bring the community together on a cold winter night. So pretty cool. And here's something that I want to spend a little story walk. And we actually have pop-up story walk table right over here. Yeah, so these are two Kenmore residents who wanted to do this thing where you can read a book page by page, walking down a path. And the first place they did it was right here, St. Edward State Park. So can you guys, anything you want to add?
I can project pretty well. So. And that we really like to use local authors, and we use local sponsors as well. So a lot of the sponsors who help us finance the project are actually here in Kenmore. So like Snapdoodle Toys and Kenmore Air and so forth. So we have, we're trying to pull in as many community aspects of it as well. So, and then Kids to Parks Day on Saturday, May 18th is when we get our new book with a local author. He lives in Seattle. That will be out there as well. So
cool, thanks. Yeah. And you're on King 5 News, and you've been all over the region now, right? You started here in Kenmore, but you're all over.
Yeah, so the idea of, if you can see behind me, these are the boards that we actually install on a trail. And the concept is that we're only up for 3 weeks at a time in one park. So you can experience it as a family, and it doesn't matter if you've already seen bunnies already and read it, because you know if you have children, reading the same book over and over and over is their favorite thing to do. So we move the books to a different location. So we've been up in Woodinville, Bothell, Redmond, Kirkland, Shoreline. Yeah, it's been a busy year for us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, you guys.
Yep.
Yeah. And another picture of it. Here's another thing that I was just really pleased to see. This is what I'm calling scarves. And Maura Query put this on, and I actually talked to her tonight. She's here. And she's done multiple events like this at the hangar. And there's actually a story about it that I'm going to show you. But Maura, can you raise your hand? So thank you for doing this. I'm going to just take a minute to cue this up, if I can find it.
Daddy's buying some more right now, I hope.
Shopping, parties, planning, it can make our busy lives that much more stressful.
Okay, Okay, I will investigate.
That's why Maura Query has a hard time believing this turnout.
I never imagined that it would be this big. I know, but you always say you're not the crafty one.
Last year, Query wanted to do more for her community, but couldn't find events or charities that worked for her and her family.
If you can't find the opportunity, then create the opportunity. Find the opportunity, then create the opportunity.
So, she created this. Scarves for Mary's Place. Maura and dozens of volunteers made up of friends, families, and even strangers cut, tied, and folded quite a few scarves.
414 scarves. It's a lot.
This year, all of this donated fabric is pre-cut, which means it's a lot easier for anyone of any age to get involved. Will you show me how to cut these again?
What I'm really trying to do is, I guess, create opportunities for people to jump in where they're feeling most inspired.
As the scarves get packed and ready to go to their new homes, one last thing is added. A note, handwritten for each scarf.
Letting them know that this was made by a stranger for them specifically.
Maura tells me they can't hand deliver the scarves, but they can let the person getting it know that someone, somewhere, who they'll probably never meet, cares about them. And isn't that the true meaning of this hectic time of year? Reporting in Kenmore, AJ Janavel for Q13 News.
Wow, what an amazing woman and such cute kids. Help.
Okay, so my favorite quote of that video was, if you can't find the opportunity, then create the opportunity. That's what Maura said. Maura, I just learned tonight that this is not the only event you've done at the hangar. I think you've done like a dozen or so events at the hangar? And tell us what kind.
So I have done, this is my second year that I've done this scarf event, and we did actually beat the prior year's goal, so that was exciting. We've also, for the last 2 years, made holiday cards for senior citizens in the area for both Valentine's Day and Christmas. And we did a kindness card event where people came and just created these kindness cards my daughter and I started making a couple years ago that they could take with them just to hand out to strangers and brighten their day and have a face-to-face interaction. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Maura. Yeah. Let me just run through a few more. So the Heritage Society and the Senior Center puts on a rhododendron walk where you can learn about rhododendron species at the park. That's just coming up here soon on May 9th. Linda Phillips is a volunteer who leads nature walks on Tuesdays at Wallace Swamp Creek Park. That's happening, that just got started again for the springtime. Here's something that's really cool and really unique and quite surprising. So a group of Kenmore residents have created this thing called As Theater Company, and they're hosting it at the Kenmore Community Club. And they've already done one show, and you can see it there at the bottom. It was called Clean House or The Clean House. And I asked them to come tonight to talk about. Do you know why? What's that? Tonight auditions for the next one, Kenmore Quickies. They're going to put on a play festival in July, and check this out. They're going to use the Kenmore mural as the basis for the play. So they're going to take a little and say, okay, somebody write a short play about that piece of the mural, and somebody write a segment about this piece of the mural. So that's going to happen in July, and I hope I'm not causing you to want to leave and go audition right now. Oh, wow. So we can look to see Sarah star in one of the plays next. So So those are just a few love notes. There's many, many more in the city. But when it comes to love notes, there's the things that the city can do. There's things that the city can do, and then there's things that you can do. Let me just go through what the city can do. First of all, the city can produce its own love notes in partnership with you all. And let me just give you some examples of that. We like to put Hank Heron, I don't know if you can see that, but that's a picture of Hank. We like to put him in different spots throughout the city, whether it's a sidewalk project. We even have Hank footprints. We've partnered with local artists and photographers to decorate some of our utility cabinets. This one's by Kenmore resident Larry. Just walked out the door. She designed Bloom Where You're Planted, right there across the street from the fire station. Behind these, a high school student did the one on the left by Inglemoor High School, and a third grader did this one at Arrowhead Elementary. Yeah. Of course, the city can provide places, right? We can provide the hangar and our parks and other things like that. And here's an example. The movies at the town square, the concerts at St. Edward State Park, the fireworks show, the Christmas event we have, the summer party, all those things that we can provide. So provide our own love notes, like I just went through. Also do a few other things. I'm going to switch mics because this one is really cutting out. All right. Is that a little bit better? Okay. We can bring co-creators together, like we're doing tonight. So we can be a we can embrace temporary. Like I said earlier, things don't have to be set in stone and permanent. We can experiment and try things. We can provide the facilities, like I talked earlier, the town square, the park. And we can say yes to pillow fights in the park, please. What the heck am I talking about? So Peter Kageyama brought this up in 2015. What does it mean to say yes to pillow fight in the park? Well, let me introduce you to Rob Bliss of Grand Rapids, Michigan. He came to Grand Rapids City Hall one day, came up to the permit counter, and he said, "I'd like a permit, please." And they said, "Okay, what kind of permit?" And he goes, "Pillow fights in the park, please." So if you adhere to your native instincts that made you survive as a species, what's the first thing you're going to do? Oh no, what are all the wrong things with that? Somebody could get hurt, somebody could get sued. It's easy to find all the wrong things with an idea like that. He said it. He said, "Pillow fights in the park, please." And guess what? The city of Grand Rapids found a way to make it happen. They gave him his permit to have pillow fights in the park. And did anybody die? No. Did anybody get sued? No. In fact, guess what happened? It was a successful event, successful enough to encourage Rob Bliss to keep going. And soon after this pillow fights event, he went to the city and said, "I want to do something bigger. I want to do something amazing with you all. I want to do a lip dub that will go viral on YouTube." And the city gets to that, and they put resources. And it's a 9-minute long lip dub, and we don't have time to show it all, but just let me show you a quick few clips about it, or from it. Let's see. You may recognize this song.
Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee,
So does this look familiar? This got millions of hits. It set a world record.
This will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I
So for 9 minutes, and they did this flawlessly. I don't know how they did it without making any mistakes. But they had different citizens coming and going throughout.
paper I deliver. This will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die.
Okay, now watch watch for something, it's going to be on your right. You got to watch for it. Watch careful. It's coming up.
If the Bible tells you so. Now do you believe in rock and roll? Can music
Pillow fights in the park.
save your mortal soul? And can you teach me how to dance real sad?
So I'm just skipping ahead. That marching bands. Okay, getting towards the end.
Word was spoken.
Okay, now watch this. Here's the end. They actually get in a helicopter. Kenmore doesn't own any helicopters. Oh yeah, we have seaplanes. The helicopter takes off, and here's the payoff right here. Yeah, and this was due in part because the city said yes to Rob Bliss when he wanted to do pillow fights in the park. So pretty cool event. And so we want to be that kind of a facilitator for you all and making awesome things happen in the city. So what can the city do? We can create love notes. We can say yes to to pillow fights in the park. We can help promote what you do via the city's media channels. So if you're doing something for the community, you can contact Becky Range here in my office. Becky, way back there at the kids' table. She's our communications specialist, and you can ask her to help you put the word out through our social media and website and other things. And we can remove barriers and just plain get out of your way. So those are the things the city can do. There's a wonderful quote by Ethan Kent. He says that the cities that succeed are the ones that allow people to help create them. That's how they become better places, but also how people are going to become more attached to them. When people help create their place, they see themselves reflected in it. It reflects their values and personalities and becomes more an extension of themselves. So that's why it's important for cities to get out of the way and help you guys co-create. Because if you help co-create, you help building our city. What can you do? What can you do to create love notes in this? Well, number one, embrace temporary. I've talked about that a couple times. Don't feel like you have to do something permanent or ongoing. Depart from the ordinary. Embrace the whimsical, the weird, the silly. Take risks. Take actions. It's okay to start small. Don't ask for permission. Maybe forgiveness. Yeah, Joanne said it. Forgiveness. And this is what Melody Warnick says. She says, let go of desired outcomes and roll with whatever. Take matters in your own hands. Raise your hand and say, I'll do it. Quoting Maura Query, if you can't find the opportunity, create the opportunity. So here's some ideas for you to create love notes and be a co-creator in the city. Oh, you guys ready to co-create something? All right, so let's work together as tables. And would love it if you could create a love note project or love note idea. And here are some criteria. Number one, think about fun, art, beauty, bringing people together, creating a sense of place. Whatever you come up with needs to be doable. No city tax dollars needed. That's a point I want to make. We're not asking you to create new city programs or add new work onto city staff. We're trying to empower you to go make things happen and not really necessarily needing the city to run it for you. And last but not least, let your imaginations go crazy. Now, we did the same exercise 4 years ago with Peter Kageyama. And at the end, the winning group was given $500 of seed money. It was all donated by the private sector. $500 of seed money to go and make it happen. We're not going to do that tonight. You're actually just going to get a cool prize instead. But the winning group, do you guys remember what the winning idea was? Everybody voted on it. Yeah. So here they are that night 4 years ago, and here's their idea that they did on the flip chart. I don't know if you can see it, but that's a picture of the cement, the concrete at Cal Portland, and their idea was to decorate them. And the crowd overwhelmingly said, yes, that's the winning idea. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's going to cost more than $500. And so at the end of the event, I said, you guys, if you accept this $500 seed money, you have to make it happen. And you should have seen the looks on their eyes and their jaws drop. Oh, you know what? They made it happen. They took that $500 and used it as seed money, started a GoFundMe campaign. They worked with Cal Portland, and Cal Portland donated a lot of time and materials and labor to this. They did some fundraisers, and lo and behold, it took them a couple years. They made it happen. It was amazing. I was surprised, shocked to see it actually happen. It was great. Yeah, Carl. Yeah, and other things spawned from that event too as well. So let's go back to this. Here are your criteria. And again, we're not asking you to implement what you're designing tonight. We'd love it if you did, and we'll be here for you. We'll have your back if you do. But this is just an idea, a time to brainstorm an idea, present it to the group, and then win a prize. So let's give you, I don't know, it's coming up on 9 o'clock. So let's take 10 minutes to formulate your ideas, and then let's come up and present the ideas, and then we'll vote on them. Have fun. What's that? Yes, make sure you use your easels for your idea. Let's just go around and tell the tables. Hey, you guys, make sure you use the flip charts to present your idea. Okay, everybody, we're going to start presenting in about 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Definitely. Hey. Yeah. So I have 10 gift certificates, so I just want to make sure there isn't a table with more than 10.
More than 10? I don't think so.
I think we're good, yeah.
I don't think fit that many.
Hey.
Darn day. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. My.
For budget cuts, he's doing a great job.
Okay, you guys. I want to get you guys out here at 9 o'clock or shortly right after 9. So are your ideas, you got your ideas done? We'll wrap it up here in about 30 seconds. Done? You guys ready? You look good. You guys look. I get you. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Nice. We got. Really? For most what? Oh. In one spot? I own a golden retriever. Okay. I love it. Perfect. Get started. And let's have the seaplane table come up and present your idea. You can, you don't need, yeah, that's up to you. Okay, take it away.
Okay. I was involved in a Guinness World Record event for redheads several years ago, and so our group's idea is to do such an event, but this time it will be for the most golden retrievers in one place at one time. We looked that up online, and the world record event for that was in Scotland, and they had 681 golden retrievers. I think we could beat that because we now know of 2 dogs between the city manager and the Smiths. Brenda Smith brought up the fact that Scotland is our sister, or a city in Scotland is our sister city, namesake. Kenmore is our sister city, and that's in Scotland. Idea is, well, here, I'll stand by it so I can get it straight. Our idea is retrievers to have some local pet mazers there, some local veterinarians, have a dog walk event, a canine triathlon. I have a friend that's involved with a Reading with Rover event, and then she also has a golden retriever dog trained to help with, such as when they have a school shooting, her dog goes to comfort the victims. So we're looking to beat that record of 681. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. So remember, we're all going to vote on these, so keep these in mind, and we'll have a description up for you when we do the voting. All right. Table, the Vikings table. Take it away.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna do this really fast because we had two. Sorry, there's others that you probably shouldn't. We were brainstorming. A vote winner was Rainwork stuff, where you make a stencil, spray this stuff that's water repellent. You do it on the pavement, and then you can't tell anything's there until it rains, and then you can see images or words or whatever. So so here we can always see it. To put 3D illusion type sidewalks at schools, so that the crosswalks, not sidewalks, the illusion of sidewalks at school, 3D illusion crosswalks. Oops, that was a Freudian slip almost or something near the schools. So that was so we couldn't decide on which of those.
So for voting purposes, okay. But you're Rainworks, okay, Rainworks it is. All right. Now for this.
Already kind of thing on Facebook. It's a rock community. Kenmore is kind of lacking. And I'm trying really hard to bring it back up. Essentially what it is, this rocks and whatever project, and I think are this whole purpose. Basically, you just paint rocks and you hide them for people to find. Doesn't cares just if someone has done. It's really exciting. My children love it. I've been doing it for about a year. I've had 2 groups from the Just Get Me Started. The first one had about 10 people. The second one had about 50 people come in and out, and it was supplies and my own just wanting to get this whole thing going. And it could go on to a million different things, like a rock path of paintings through a garden or through a park or something, of all the work that's been painted from the community, and it just kind of, I have a million ideas, but the overarching.
Thank you. Cool. All right. The Beaver.
I'm going to talk about, thank you. We were talking about a community lunch barbecue at the hangar, where maybe some of the businesses or the Kenmore Business Alliance has this little picnic. They pay a half, someone pays and they'll have a hot dog or, like a Costco special just to have the community. And we have that twice a year. The other thing is introduce Elizabeth, because she has a great idea about a relay.
Okay, so incorporates all city. It's a non-competitive race connecting all the fun things that we already like to do. So if you're a dog walker, you're a dog walker. This is it over to the kayak that is going to be with Eric Admin over there, and there might at road. Basically, it'd be non-competitive and like an orienteering, so you'd connect on a map, it'd be intellectual, and the kids who want to do air monitoring and water sampling as science could be included there, and that's...
All right, thank you. So for voting purposes, which one are we doing for your table? Yeah, your table has to have one idea. All right, I'm going to let you guys figure it out. I'm moving. All right, the crow table.
So we got you covered, Stacy. We did kids art to promote. So the idea being the PTAs, maybe the art docents at the schools would go into the classroom and talk to their kids and be paid for via PT. Lots of ways to pay.
Thanks, Carissa. Appreciate that. Dahlia table. You guys are dwindling in numbers.
Actually have three, so we're going to have to vote too. But easiest one, free little library on 68. A bigger project that I would love to have happen is to make a boardwalk from the utility district all the way up to the driveway at Kenmore Self-Storage. The sidewalk, if you're walking, and there's so many pedestrians that actually but as you can kind of see, it would just take it over that big ditch because that
It's already being signed, right, Kent? Kent's in charge. You're right with us.
Well done. So our other idea was to paint numbers, bike tunnels. Prep of those two tunnels and the paint. This is very ambitious. Artists, and similar to the 522 beautification. We vote like we did for the 522. Paint all of it, but we would have of it where you can have families and
Hi, everybody. Okay, so what we were talking about was just getting started markets. There's really a need for entrepreneurs in the community to have a place to sell their products. Seniors for selling their art. A lot of up-and-coming entrepreneurs don't have a place. It's hard to get access into retail stores, and they have to get started small. It's coming into summer, and a lot of folks can't get into the markets now because a lot of them have to sign up in January and February for these markets. And then they're often hundreds of dollars. If they have a place, like the hangar, where there's affordable space, they need a table, they just need community to turn out, and these folks make really great things. They have to learn how to sell their products and improve their marketing skills from the feedback from the consumers. And having a small community to get started right here in Kenmore would be a great thing for these guys.
Let's see.
We had popcorned a bunch of ideas out, and then we had a hard time selecting, but we forced ourselves to select. So the one that we selected is pretty easy to implement. It's just an open mic talent night, could be repeated, probably at the community club. So that was our favorite. Could be, you know, people doing poetry slams, music, karaoke, storytelling, etc., comedy, whatever the person wants. But then our other ideas, which we didn't want to neglect, dance guy, who some people here knew, leading really fun family dance stuff incorporating that with the summer party. Galen, I think is the name. Pea Patch Community Garden. We also had kind of a gleaning idea. Kenmore Potluck, and or candlelight dinner in the winter at our restaurants or somewhere. And then we talked about the cleaning.
All right. So you're going with open mind, right? All right. Last table, roadie table. Here we go.
So we have a very rich First Peoples history in Kenmore, and it's not something that's known very well by most of the community. We have access to maps that show where the original locations of villages were located. And so what we're looking at doing is a kind of a variety of things, or whatever is the most cost effective. I know that stand-up paddleboard is going to have tours down the slough. Potentially we could have a map that identifies the villages as you go down the slough, either in a kayak or on a boat tour. We could potentially have interpretive signs or some kind of markers related to where the villages were that refer to written history, or have a QR code. Another idea would be to, just like we have Cat Whiskers Road brown sign, we could have the names of the villages on some of the signs in the area.
Nice. These are great, you guys. These are ideas that you just came up in just a few short minutes, and look how quickly they all came together. Okay, so let's get out your cell phones. Oh, by the way, you guys want to know what the prize is? So each person at the winning table will get a $20 gift certificate to the Seaplane Restaurant, and there's one more you're going to get at the Seaplane Restaurant. You'll also get a card, and when you show this card to the Seaplane Restaurant, you will get the Seaplane Crowler. So, just so you know that we don't have alcohol on city property. This one's empty. Oh, it looks like there's something in it. But you'll get a crowler at the Seaplane Restaurant, and they have some unique brews over there. But yeah, so you'll get a $20 gift card and a growler, or crowler. So it starts with a C, it's not a G, a crowler. So that's what's at stake here, you guys. So get out your cell phones. And Kelly did a great job explaining these. Can you guys all see this? Start voting.
I really think that people should have latitude to implement all these ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, not pick one. We should really encourage people to do all
Thank you.
these ideas.
Oh, yeah, I want. Yeah, I'm serious. So, can you? I want to bring the winning table up.
Okay.
To.
And then do a picture.
Do a picture, yeah. Okay. Can you close it out for me? Okay, you guys, 10 seconds, and we're going to be closing it out. 10, 9, 8. Somebody's saying hold on. I'll start over. I'll start the countdown. Ready? 10, 9, 8. Yeah, you can only vote once. We tried to vote twice, and we wouldn't let us. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And who's the winner? If you move the Heron Table wins the most votes. Woo! So can you guys come on up? We're going to take a picture and give you your gift cards. So Heron Table, good job, you guys. Wow. Let's come up and take a picture. well, let me just wrap it up. Thanks, you guys. One more round of applause. Thanks. So Eric Admin just pulled me aside and said, we need to make sure that all of these ideas have the green light to go forward. And that is absolutely true. Just because you didn't win the gift card doesn't mean you can't go forth and make any of your ideas happen. No, yeah. So I just want to close on just a couple quick notes. And by the way, thank you so much for coming tonight. I hope you found this engaging and fun. Again, this was about you guys. This was about celebrating and thanking you for all you do. Oh, sorry. Here's what Melody said. Melody Warnick said. She goes, the world is full of people who say, that would be fun. What it needs is more people who say, let's give it a whirl. And Jane Jacobs, who city nerds like me just absolutely love. She's written a lot of amazing things. She was ahead of her time in the 1950s and 60s. She said that cities have the capability of providing something for everybody only because and only when they are created by everybody. So that's what this event's about. This is about making Kenmore, Kenmore, and having you all knowing that you can go forth and create and make things happen, and that we have your backs. So thank you for coming tonight. Appreciate it.